So it's May the 9th, 2011, and people in this country are talking about the Bin Laden killing. And there are a lot of confused opinions about it in my own mind about it, and I'm trying to sort it all out. So let me try and sort out a few of those ideas that I have at this point. First off, no one can tolerate, I think, the kind of violence that it came about as a result of 9/11. So I wouldn't want to be seen in any way as someone who was friendly to that. But when I think about Bin Laden, what I know of him, I think he becomes one of a long list of people that the United States government, my government, has supported and funded and helped create, and then later wound up destroying. We have a long list of people. My generation, it was DM in Vietnam. There's a whole long list of these folks. Certainly recently, Saddam Hussein in Iraq, once working together with him to build armaments and supporting him in the war against Iran, and then finally searching him out and killing him. So I have great moral questions in my mind, my heart, about this propensity toward violence, supporting it, and then turning violence against it. So Bin Laden's a complicated figure. I saw a video of him the other night on CNN, a documentary on him done a while back, and how as a young boy he was deeply spiritual and kind of quiet boy, who his teachers all said was a deeply peaceful kid. And then I see the pictures of him with the rifles, with the armaments, and his reputation now as the most evil man in the world. And I wonder what happened between those early days and the latter days. And how not only has he been shaped by his history, and we by ours, but also how he's been shaped by media and government to be a child, innocent child, and then a terrorist. So I have deep questions about that. The second thing that's on my mind these days, how to figure it out, is I was in the Marine Corps for a while, right prior to Vietnam, and had some military background with that. And I know a little bit about the SEALs who did this operation. I worked with Green Berets at one point in my life. They were predecessors to the SEALs. And certainly what they did was a courageous act. No one could ever say that what they did didn't require a lot of courage to do a raid like that. But I wonder, I say to myself, what does it say while we celebrate in the streets and we hand out awards to those young men? What about the people in other parts of the world to see U.S. helicopters coming into their country, landing on the roof of a building, killing people, unarmed people? And then coming out, what does that say? How is that going to speak to a part of the world that, particularly a young part of the world, about the United States? One of the concerns for me in my lifetime, I protested the war in Vietnam, been involved heavily with peace work here in this country, in this state, West Virginia, not supporting the war in Iraq and our invasion there. And I worry about our young people here and how they're being shaped in a militaristic way, how that is glorified. And for many of our kids here, the only job for them, getting out of high school, to go into the military, that's the only thing that's available to them. So the militarism and the holding up of a military model for young people concerns me greatly. I do think, I feel deeply that the United States is really living through, I'm 75 years old, but I think we're living through now the end of an empire, the United States empire. That's very hard for Americans to appreciate. We don't see ourselves as if we were the Roman Empire or Babylonian Empire, but we are an empire, and I think we are well beyond our capabilities and squandering our money, our resources, our people in wars that are typical of empires in decline. And so the hard part for me and for the people I live with and the people who are not supporting these wars is how to live that out, nonviolent message in the midst of an empire that's dying, and which shows every sign of what empires do when they are dying, and that is they turn more violent and don't know quite how to turn off the militarism that once maybe defended them, and now which they are part of even occupying other places like we see now, bases all over the world. So I have 9 grandchildren, and my hope is that they can learn more about the nonviolent tradition of their own country. We have it in this country. A lot of our kids in schools don't get this education. And that they can learn that these are heroes. There were heroes that came out of World War I and Vietnam and World War II. Today, by the way, is the anniversary in this country of Muhammad Ali, the fighter. He went to prison for refusing to go to Vietnam on this very day in 1967, May 9th. I wonder how many of our kids know that history. How many of them understand that there is an honorable history around nonviolence, and a nonviolent, not to be celebrated only once a year when Martin Luther King Day comes up in January, but maybe something to be emulated, and maybe even, I have to say it, that maybe even sometimes you might be punished for it in the name of patriotism.